plain sight, protecting yourself and your family from an attack. I'm gonna start with this Irish shillelagh. Represents a walking stick. You can make one of these, not a shillelagh, but you can make, I guess you make your own homemade self-defense walking stick out of a 36-inch jowl rod. A little winded, I just finished doing a whole bunch of push-ups. Anyway, starting with this, hidden in plain sight, take it anywhere, almost everywhere you go. Hidden in plain, you gotta protect your family. It's all about being able to protect your family, your kids, your grandkids, yourself. Starting with it in the hand that you would normally carry it in, if you were using it to walk with, you're gonna slide your hand down the back, bringing your hands up into this protected position, and then simply thrust, hitting them with the end. Now this end of an Irish shillelagh, these hard wood, this is filled with lead shot. It's the hard knot coming out of the tree, the root system. So it's gonna hit extremely hard. You're gonna smash anything and everything that it's in its way. The nose, the teeth, the throat. You ask yourself, what can you remove or destroy? These principles of self-defense come from Tim Larkin's book, When Violence is the Answer. So we're gonna use that as our premise. What can you remove or destroy? His ability to see, breathe temporarily or permanently, his ability to be awake, maybe when you crack him on the side of his head, to protect your family, knock him out, then you don't have to worry about what he's carrying. Now that's another nice thing about these long stick weapons. Starting with this one, I'm gonna show you a couple more, is that you have reach advantage. If you're being attacked by somebody with a bladed weapon or another, maybe they're swinging a stick or they're swinging a golf club, tire iron, machete, a hatchet, and you have a walking stick, you're gonna have reach advantage because the walking stick is about 36 inches and you can make yours any length you want. So starting in this position, in your hand, you bend the knees, the other hand always comes up and open. This is so that you can stop, you can immediately bring your hand up, protect yourself, drive your elbow into his face, protect your family. You can strike by turning your shoulders and hips, extend the arm, take a little bit of a step with that back foot and crack him right through the middle of his face. Then you can bring your elbow up like you're answering your phone, hitting him between the legs. Maybe he's reaching with that weapon, smashing his hand, going to throw it into your hand as you bring his hand up. Then you can step in and, like a bayonet attack with a rifle, stick that through his face or through his throat or into his solar plexus. Now pull the back hand, allowing the front hand to loosen a little so it can slide, and then you're going to push forward. See that you're pushing against your stick. To accelerate that strike, by turning your shoulders and hips, you're creating so much power that when it cracks him in the side of his face, or it hits him in his temple, or cracks him in the neck, you're either gonna knock him out, or you're gonna knock him back, or you're gonna knock him to the ground. It's good to see you, Alita. Utsav Beres says hello, Utsav. So starting in the back hand, the first of these hidden self-defense tools, you can take anywhere and everywhere you go. Gray man option, gray woman option is gonna be a simple walking stick. It doesn't have to be this pretty, this fancy. It doesn't have to be the Irish shillelagh. It could be any homemade walking stick, any stick that you get that's nice and sturdy. Bend the knees to slide behind it, and then you're in this position. You're giving a verbal command, get out of my face, back up. I will defend myself. I'm gonna defend my family. Don't come any closer. If you have to, there's that jab. Answer your phone, thrust, slide, smash here. Sliding down the front. So your hand's on the top. You can also slide it down the front. First, you brought it down here. Now you're just simply going down the front. As you do that, the same thing happens with your other hand, up and open to protect your head, to guard your body. If he were to be slashing a weapon at you, coming at you with a knife or something else, you can put your hand against your head to absorb the blow. Maybe he's doing a haymaker punch or he's trying to slap or grab. You'll intercept it with this elbow, stick that elbow through his nose, through his teeth, into his throat, into his chest for self-defense if he's taller than you. And then bring this straight up, and just like the last one, this first motion lifting, you can create a lot of power as you hit him. If you don't hit him, bring it into your shoulder, and then swinging through, straight through, follow through, hit it, and then keep going. You're gonna smash into whatever you can remove or destroy, his eyesight, his hearing, you hit somebody in the neck with this technique as you're coming through for self-defense, you can hit that process of nerves that will then flush, it sends a signal to his brain, flushes the blood out, he falls to the ground like a sack of dirt or worse, right? The point is, he's out of your way. This is how to protect yourself and your family from an attack. Unprovoked, you're just going about your business, or you happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and there's a group of thugs coming down the street, throwing things, breaking up beautiful statues that belong to a church or something like that, and then you get caught in the middle of that. You're trying to get your family home. Maybe you've got your grandkids, maybe you've got your spouse, maybe you're with friends, maybe it's just you, and you don't have any other self-defense tools but a simple walking stick. Or also 36 inches is your average umbrella. I'm going to show you another tool that's about this length, but I want to show you that again. Sliding your hand down the front, this hand comes up and open. You can thrust here using the length as an advantage. Pull it to your shoulder, striking through, coming off the other shoulder. These are just angular strikes, and this is moving very fast, and it's going to break the bone, or it's going to knock something out of his hand, or it's going to bounce off his head, but it might have enough force to knock him out, at least stop him, knock him back. There are multiple attackers. You can move very quickly in multiple directions just by turning your shoulders in the angle of the strike. You can also come behind you, just simply using a walking stick or a cane. We'll talk about the traditional crook cane in just a second. But I want to go through these basic angles that you can practice on your own. And speaking of self-defense, if you're here in the United States, or you can get here and you're serious about learning how to defend yourself with something a little bit more aggressive than the things that I normally teach. So Tim Miller, who's as you know, you've been here for a long time. Tim Miller's a good friend of mine, good friend of the channel. He teaches, he's a former Secret Service, retired Marine Colonel, former police officer, Homeland Security. He's been around the business for a long time, teaching people, teaching organizations how to defend themselves. And if you want to learn more aggressive forms, I'm going to be with him on these courses that are coming up. I put the link below in the description. Go there, it's the Lionheart Security. It says Tim Miller's links. Go there and look at the courses he has coming up. They're here in beautiful Florida. Thank you, Alita, for that generous gift. But go take a look at that and see if that's something that's right for you. If you do, because a lot of people will watch my video and say, well, I wouldn't hit him with a stick, I would just carry one of these. Well, you can't if you live in England. You can't if you live in Paris. You can't live if you live in most parts of Canada now. They're taking all the rights. You can't if you're in Australia. You can't in all the places where things are becoming crazy, or you don't want to, or it's not right for you. But if it is, and you want to learn how to do that better, there are a whole list of courses on how using more tools like this, and that's in the description. So I just want to throw that out there from the start. All right, so sliding down the front, you get into a better position. One foot's in front of the other one. You have a thrust. You have angular strikes. I want you to practice these. Horizontal strikes, think about striking his head into his body, down into the knees if you have to, and then coming down over the top, either one hand or two hands, just straight down, whatever you can remove or destroy, his ability to be awake. If he does have one of these blades, then you're gonna have to worry about it until he's no longer able to use it, either by knocking it out of his hand, or even better, knock him out, make him unconscious, drop him to the ground using your self-defense tool. And again, these are hidden self-defense, hidden in plain sight. You're walking with this, you're carrying it just like you would any other walking stick. No one's gonna ask you or question you why you use a walking stick. Something like this is nice, it's kind of stylish. If it's just a stick, you can also carry it like this, have it in your hand this way. By turning your palm up, you can now strike coming through, smashing his face, boxing his ears, letting go and taking out the knee by adding some tension here. And then as you release it, it's gonna hit him even faster, breaking, smashing, coming through. Or if you're holding it here, you can turn it over. Now you have it in this position, striking, thrusting, sliding, pushing through, smashing with both hands like you're doing a push-up, boxing his ears again, lower your stance, bring this up into his solar plexus, into his throat, into his nose for self-defense. Clubby JD asked what we're doing. We're talking about how to protect yourself, how to protect your family from a violent attack, from a group of thugs, a group of people, or one person who surprises you, or you see them, they're coming, they won't leave you alone, you feel threatened, they're trying to take your dignity, your freedom, your self-respect, your health, they're trying to hurt your wife, your children, your grandchildren, and you're not gonna let them. You're going to fight, you're gonna defend yourself. The first tool is this simple walking stick. And Ashton asked, what about the expandable baton? It's a good question. We'll grab one. If I can find it, there we go. Now this is not a hidden self-defense tool, but I'm gonna show you this one because it's the same length as one of my favorite sticks, which is a collie stick, which is about a 28-inch stick. This one I think is 28 inches, 26 or 28. Law enforcement carries, and security will often carry different lengths depending on what their department chooses. You can't carry these everywhere. These are illegal in some countries. These are illegal in certain states here in the United States, or jurisdictions, that means areas where you live. But it's also just obviously for hitting somebody. I mean, that's the whole purpose of it. The expandable baton, especially when you have two kinds. One, you hit the button and it's spring loaded, pops out. And the other one, you saw how I opened it with a flick of the wrist. And it is, it's not. It's called a friction. Yes, I do have a 3-piece staff, but I have a couple, there are none here. That I would need a much bigger space to show you how to use that. We'll do that on another day when we're back into the dojo. So that you can simply, the same thing that I did with that other tool, you have the walking cane or the walking stick. It's all basic strikes. So you have angular strikes, you have horizontal strikes, you have a vertical strike. You can go for, but the principles of self-defense, the important part. Tim Larkin's book, When Violence is the Answer, talks about what you can remove or destroy. I'm going to put that in the description below. You can go read that book if you haven't already, and it will tell you you're aiming for his ability to be awake. You hit him in the head, right? His ability to run after you or to walk after you, take out his knee. Maybe he pulls that knife out and he's coming at you, or he's trying to grab you, stab you, choke you, poke you, slap you, and you smash the hand and get it out of your face coming through. And so the thing to remember about if you do use an expandable baton for self-defense is that you follow through with all your strikes, and all the strikes come off of the shoulders, meaning that you don't swing from out here. You swing from outside of your frame, the center of your body, then he's gonna close that distance instinctively. He's coming into you, your arm is gonna wrap around his back, you're never gonna hit him. But if you come off the shoulder, you're always gonna hit what's between you and him. And that means as he's coming in, it's gonna run into him, and this hard piece of metal is gonna do its job. It's gonna push him back, it's gonna hurt. This is not my favorite tool because it's not hidden, and I just don't think it's as effective as the walking stick I showed you. Now, staying with that length, 36 inch, a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, is this cane. So this is the traditional cane that has the crook on it. You can take this just about everywhere you go. Seth asks, how much practice on bags do you use for striking? You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to do that much on the bags. Practice in the air a lot in your muscle memory. There's no such thing as muscle memory, but your body's gonna remember how to do the techniques. You're gonna carve the neural pathways in the brain. You're gonna be able to do that better and better and better. They're gonna be more accurate just by striking the air. The problem with hitting bags is that you can get really sloppy. You can trick yourself, just like boxing. You'll see guys in the gym that want to hit that thing and make it swing back and forth. And you can develop a lot of power hitting a bag if you do it correctly, but most people don't do it correctly. They swing it and they're tricking themselves thinking they're learning something. Same thing's true when you use a weapon on a bag. The bags are so wide, you can get a more narrow bag. If you do want to hit something, traditionally like Filipino martial artists, FMA guys who use kali, eskrima slot, they might use a stack of tires, and that's nice because it rebounds. And that teaches you how to control a rebound. When you hit somebody's head, you're gonna get a rebound a lot of times, so you have to know how that feels in your hand to be able to follow through and to control that rebound so you don't lose your stick. But I don't think it's necessary to actually use a bag. Now this cane offers a few more options. The great thing about the cane is that you practice this spinning on your own. And as you're practicing the spinning, you're starting to develop callus on your hands, and you're starting to get a feel for timing and distance, proprioception, and then when you need it, you can bring it through very quickly, striking, moving somebody back. You can bring it up, you can bring it down on his head, you can bring it through at an angle, back down the other way. One of my favorite moves is to bring it straight up, simply bending the elbow, bend the wrist, lift the shoulder. So 1, 2, 3 points, 3 joints. Each one will accelerate that strike. So maybe you hit him between the legs. Maybe he's reaching for you again. You smash that hand and break the bone. This hard piece of oak, or if yours, this is a Cane Masters self-defense cane. If you want a Cane Masters self-defense cane, or you just even want to see what they look like, I put it in the description below. G. Carlton, thank you so much for that generous gift, that super chat, bringing it up here. You can also turn your hand, cracking them on the top of the head. So bring it up 1, 2. You can turn it around so the crook is facing out. Doing the same motion, bring it up, bring it down, bring it around, bring it back, bring it down on top of his head, bring it back the other way on top of his head. You can also slide it up, put your hands up. Hey, back up, you're too close. Smash him using this big, hard, this crook here that's more surface. You're gonna move him back, break something, crack him just like we did with the last tool. Smash through the face, down like you're chopping. The difference here with this beveled edge is you can dig in to the skin, the muscle, the nerves. You can pull the eye out of his head, you can pull his nose off his face, you can rip the teeth out of his mouth, stick it in his ear, stick it in his neck, you can stick it up in that meaty portion on the back of his shoulder, pull him down, pull him into your knee, smashing the teeth down his throat for self-defense. And again, it's good for multiple attackers. You can hit this guy, smash and hit that guy, hit the one in front, bring it through here, bring it behind you, simply by turning in different directions. And if you have to fight multiple attackers to get your family safe from an attack or yourself safe from an attack, it's good to have something that has that reach, this 36 inches. Now you can go longer. There's many ways that we're gonna use that self-defense cane. But this is kind of like a hiking staff, or maybe you have trekking poles that you like to walk with. You can use a hiking staff or trekking poles. This is also known as the Okinawan Joe, the Japanese Joe. Hello, Ghost Face, good to see you. And it comes up to about the length of my armpit, which is, this one's 54 inches. Now from here, you have your elbow bent and you can simply thrust. So now you're smashing him with that part coming through his nose, his teeth. This one is made out of hickory. This is also made by Cane Masters. So if you look at that Cane Masters link, you can find the walking sticks. And you can get it 7 feet or 6 feet. You can get 54 inches. You can ask him to cut it any length you want. You can thrust and then turn your hand over as you're coming forward and crack him across the top of his head. And this long piece of oak or hickory, long piece of hickory flying through the air with all that energy in it is gonna smash and break whatever it hits, or at least knock him out, which is what you want. You wanna knock him out. He's got a knife, he's got a machete. There are multiple attackers that are coming after your wife, your husband, your grandchildren, your own children, yourself. You wanna be able to protect yourself from an attack. You wanna protect your family from an attack. This is one of the best hidden self-defense tools. Just looks like a walking stick. If you carry it like this, if you carry it around like this, obviously it's gonna look like you're looking for a fight. But if you're out for a walk, maybe you have your trekking pole. Another great tool, especially if you're in Britain, because they'll take everything from you in Great Britain now and blame it, or say that it's a weapon, right? Even if it's not this. This is obviously a weapon. This is obviously a weapon. This, for me, is a tool. I use it. I've already opened 3 things with it today. But this can be, this is an obvious weapon, right? Kitchen knife, obvious weapon. This is a walking stick or an umbrella, carrying an umbrella. And I know that umbrella is not this long. You can get an umbrella that long, but most umbrellas are about the same length as a walking stick because they double as a walking stick. And then if it's a well-made umbrella, and it doesn't have to be super expensive, you can get one for about 50 bucks. You get a nice umbrella, it's pretty indestructible because they're made to withstand the weather, and you can do all the same things for self-defense that you do with your walking stick. Especially with an umbrella, you can Have it in the back hand. He's getting too close. Point your thumb at the threat. Put the stick between you and him, the umbrella. Hold it against your hip so that if he were to grab it, he now has to pull your body. If your hands are away from your body and they grab it, you're playing tug of war and you're gonna lose. If it's locked to your body and he pulls it, you make a small circle, turning this way, and that's going to twist his hands up, and you push down, and it'll either come out or it'll cause pain. Then you step in and stick the end of the umbrella into the nose, teeth, the throat, whatever you can remove or destroy from self-defense, as we talked about earlier from Tim Larkin's book, When Violence is the Answer. But that's using an umbrella or using the walking stick. The great thing about this is that it increases your reach. So again, if he's got his bladed weapon, if he's got this knife, a longer knife, a machete even, you're this far away from him, you can keep him way back and not let him get close enough to stick this into you 30 or 40 times, or even once. Puts this in the right spot, lacerates that femoral nerve, or one of the other, or not the nerve, the artery, one of the other arteries that are feeding the heart, and all your blood comes out within seconds. You're dead before they can even get to you. So being able to keep somebody off of you with a long distance tool like this, you can be standing like this, just having a conversation, bring it straight up, smashing in the head. You can bring it around and crack him in the legs, sweep his legs out from under him. Maybe you don't want to hit him in the face. Maybe you want to hit him in the groin, or you want to take out his knee simply by turning. And you lift, and then if you have to, you can bring it through. You can slide your hands along a tool like this, a self-defense tool, and change your grip. You can switch your hands over and change your grip. And I'll teach you how to do all that stuff. In fact, all the videos are here. If you want to go and take a look, you can see that. Bag says, it's from Nova Scotia, disabled veteran, have a cane made from dried birch, and the lessons with cane help bring back confidence. Absolutely. I'm so happy I can help you. That's all I want to do. I don't want people to be stuck in their house afraid because they see all this craziness happening in the world. I do want you to be alarmed. I want you to prepare so you don't have to panic. You don't have to perish, and you don't have to tremble hiding under the bed because of what we see happening all around us. Learn some basic self-defense. It's probably never going to happen to you anyway, but if it does, you're going to have more confidence to be able to defend yourself and your family from an attack. Ravinder Gosal says, loved your Indian clubs. It's funny you said that. I was about to do an Indian club tutorial today, but I was talking to Tim Miller from Lionheart. He's got all these courses coming up, and they're filling up so fast. And I've been promising you on this channel that I would get you the information when he had the courses on how to use more aggressive self-defense tools, how to really protect your family, how to really protect your home using things that are protected here by the Second Amendment in the United States. So I put that link below. If you are serious at all about self-defense and you want to meet me or train with me, work out, and I don't know if you do or not, but if you do, that would be a good place. I'm going to be helping and assisting in those courses. I'm going to teach them hand-to-hand. I'm going to teach them weapon retention, some unarmed combat, all the things I love to do. I'm going to help in the range, help with all the other the gear that he has there. You cannot. It's talk about like tier one, a lot of tier one operators. So you can't really recreate it with just the average home defense, family defense course that involves shooting, but it's like one of a kind because it also involves a lot of the mentality that you have to have coming from people who really understand, been there, done that. And so that's in the link below if you want to see that. Anyway, so going shorter, I'm going to go smaller. For the hidden self-defense tool that you can use to protect yourself and your family from an attack, and this is the Tonbo. This one's a little bit shorter. This one's 15 inches. I normally make them 18 inches, but I made somebody a really long one, and so I lost a couple inches. This is a leftover that I like to train with because I like the way it feels in my hand, and I can do a lot of things for self-defense, and you can too, using a simple stick. And you can carry this in a bag, in a backpack. And if someone says, hey, what's that? And you're like me, well, I have to fix, I have a broken piece of furniture at the house. I picked this up from the hardware store, the do-it-yourself shop, because I need to cut it down and fix my stool, piece of furniture in the kitchen, in the bathroom. I have a small little closet space. This is a closet rod for that small closet space. I'm taking it home. It's not a weapon. It's a self-defense tool, which it is. It's a, I mean, you don't tell them it's a self-defense tool. You tell them it's a, it's a craft. It's just a stick. This one's oak. I make these longer, shorter, but you can make them yourself. You go to the do-it-yourself shop, the hardware store, get a dowel rod of a hard wood. Don't get poplar, don't get pine. Get oak or hickory here in the United States. Other countries have different hardwoods, but they're all kind of related. Get your hardwood, cut it down to 18 inches or however long you want. I usually like it from the tip of the finger to the elbow joint. And then you hold it so you have a little bit here coming out the end. That's so you can strike with it. You can strike behind you, you can strike here. Remember, there might be multiple attackers that you need to protect yourself from and your family. And so maybe you hit this guy this way, bring this here, bring this to the front, two hands, smash this guy behind you, bring it back in, smash it through his teeth. You can lower yourself, again, by bending your knees. That's how you lower your center of gravity, so you have more balance than him. And then you also load up your legs with the weight. And then when you unload them, you push off, you hit so much harder for self-defense. Now you're smashing him through his guts. Puke comes out, all that stuff's what we want, right? So we smash through. From here, you can strike in all of the traditional ways that we already showed. Angles, your horizontal, your vertical. You can also strike coming up under the chin, into the solar plexus, into the groin with the long end. You can immediately change grip simply by loosening the hand. Slides down. In fact, you can just practice this over and over. So you never have to take your hand off your stick, and now it's harder for him to grab. You can still strike this way, bring it into his ear, into the jaw, into the neck, into his ribs, break the ribs. You can hit by turning your wrist out, smashing with this part, coming through here, bringing this down on the top, into his throat or into his face for self-defense, into that solar plexus, hitting the person behind you, turning with your whole body, generating massive amounts of force, smashing through. When you have to protect yourself or your family, using a hidden self-defense tool, going even smaller. This one starts the loaded fist series. So this is a loaded fist. When you put something in your hand so your hand doesn't collapse, if you just make a fist, my hands don't collapse as much, and a boxer's won't. A martial artist who's done it for, like me, I've done it since I'm 9, because you hit for so long, so many times. There's all the knuckle push-ups, all that other stuff. And so it's pretty tight. But when I put this in here, I'm hitting so much harder. And so you're gonna hit so much harder. There's a little extra weight, but that's gonna break a jaw or knock him out. Hit him in that neck, hit him in the jaw, hit him in the temple, smash his nose, smash into his throat, hit him in the ribs, hit him if you can reach, smash him in his kidneys, if you know how to do that. But you don't have to keep, it doesn't have to be super complex. Punch straight, go for the jaw. If you turn your shoulders and hips, it's gonna be a harder punch. If you extend by turning your thumb down at the end of your punch, you're gonna hit harder. If you also step or even just lean your body, don't lean your chin, you'll get knocked out, but bring your body forward. So from here, bring your body forward. You can either do that by moving the back foot forward, if it's your back foot, with your front hand like a jab, you move your front foot to bring your body forward. But notice that I'm not leading with the chin. You don't wanna throw your head first. You wanna turn your body, keep your head back, and bring through, and you're gonna maximize your force. You're gonna hit so much harder. Now from here, we'll go down just a little bit, see the comments. You can also strike with this. Ramen Noodle asked, what if they whip out a Glock? I don't know why people think Glocks are so great. I have one. I have one for work. The new job I'm doing at night brings me some money, or brings me a Glock. They issue Glocks or whatever. I just read Antisocial says, give them your money. Absolutely. If someone's robbing you for your money or your phone, give them your money, give them your phone. Don't risk your life fighting somebody. They pull out a knife and they're threatening you to take something from you that isn't your life, isn't your dignity, and isn't your freedom. Give it to them. If someone's trying to strip from you the things that God gave you, your life, your freedom, your dignity, then don't give it to them. Or if it's obvious that they're going to hurt you anyway, even after you give them this stuff, then fight. But if it's just a robbery, or stick up or whatever, give them the stuff they're asking for. If they're trying to take your child or harm your wife, or harm your husband, or harm your grandchildren, God forbid, then fight them to the death. And I mean that for self-defense, only for self-defense. So anyway, antisocial as is the FMA Filipino stuff. Something it's a mixture of things. It's not, the techniques don't matter. It's all principles. Principle number one, self-defense. Pay attention to what's happening around you. You're gonna get those in the Tim Miller courses. If you go to the Lionheart link in the description, you're gonna see what they're teaching, and that's the first thing they're gonna teach you, situational awareness. Get off your phone. Put your phone in your pocket, put it in the bag. Don't be on your phone and or even worse, like this while you're walking. I see it constantly, you see it constantly. That's the best way to get yourself hurt. Walk into some place that you don't even know that something bad is already happening. Pay attention to what's happening. Number two, get in a better position. Hands up and open between you and them. And if you have a self-defense tool like this, hey, you're too close. You can blind them very quickly with the flashlight, which is the other great thing about it. This one, if it's a self-defense flashlight, usually has this bezel here at the end that you can dig into their skin when you strike with. Again, hitting the guy behind you, smashing the face, coming through, coming back, coming over the top, coming straight up. And with these self-defense flashlights, which are relatively inexpensive, you can smash all kinds of stuff. All right, punching, that's simple. Now this is the flashlight. I showed you the extra benefit of the flashlight is that, especially at night, you can blind somebody, and that might be all you need to get out of there, get your family safe. It might be a group of thugs coming at you. You blind all of them. They lose their night vision, their pupils dilate. When it's nighttime, and most of you guys know this, but at nighttime, your pupils get really big, so more light can come in because there's not as much light. That's how we're made as human animals. If you flash someone, that's why when the police officer comes up, if you've ever been driving in a car or passenger car late at night, and an officer comes up to knock on the window, and they're usually, it's if they're right-handed, they're like this. One hand is on their self-defense tool, the other one is on the flashlight, and they're flashing it like this, and they're trying to blind you. They're trying to see if you have anything in the car, but they're also trying to blind you because they do want to keep you from seeing. Fridge asks, does a flashlight with a blinking function work better than one without it? I don't know. All of mine have the blinking function is like a SOS alert. Like you turn it on and you're lost in the woods, or you've had a crash in the bottom of the ravine, and then it flashes so that someone can be alerted and come to help you. I don't think that flashing someone, if you were getting a seizure or something, maybe that would work, but I would just turn it on and stick it in their eyes. Yeah, Red Pill says, yeah, the Night Corps EDC, or some of the, like when I was in the military police in the Marine Corps, we carried the mag light, and the big mag light with big D-cell batteries, and it was heavy, and it was, you turn it on, and if you have to, boom, because it's about this long, and all those batteries and all that steel that it's made out of is going to come through, and it's going to do its job for self-defense. You can carry a long one if you want, or take the short one. Ground self-defense is really important, Steve says. Steve also said everybody has a gun. That's not true. There are more guns than people in the United States, but a lot of people, like I have 19, or something like that. Or maybe I did. I think I lost them all. At one point in time, I had 19, now I don't have any. But if I did, that would make me have a higher number than the average person. And then you have enough, a smaller group of people, and then that spreads out. And it's a myth. Not everybody does. And a lot of people don't like to carry them. And a lot of people don't know how to use them. And so they don't carry them, or they're afraid of them, so they don't carry them. But it is true. You got to assume that somebody might be armed, but you should be nice to people anyway. You shouldn't be popping off to people getting in a fight. But also knowing how to fight on the ground is extremely important. I agree with you 1,000%. But don't get stuck in the idea that only ground fighting is what you need to learn, because you should also be able to fight without going to the ground. I've been in fights. I've apprehended people as a military policeman. I've had many fist fights. Not lately, but when I was younger, and I never went to the ground because I knew how to fight standing up. I also started in judo. It was my first martial art. I know how to fight on the ground. And then I wrestled in high school. I know how to fight on the ground. So I know how to keep somebody from taking me down. I know how to sprawl. I know how to turn and push somebody off. But I never was like tackled by one of the Gracie grandchildren, or even a blue belt BJJ guy could probably, if they were quick enough and fast enough, could probably take me down. But that's not what we're training for. We're training for groups of thugs who might come after you, your family. They're not jiu-jitsu people, because jiu-jitsu people would be smarter than that. They would be better human beings than to be out trying to hurt people with the things that they learned on the mat. Because any good instructor would have already kicked them out of their school before they even got to the level where they learned anything worth hurting anybody. We're talking about just the thugs, punks, groups of angry people who are angry for whatever reason. You just get caught in the middle of it, or they come looking for victims. They come looking for easy prey, and for whatever reason, they think that you're it. Now all of a sudden you've got this, you can blind them, you can smash them with it, you can bring it down on top, and it's better than nothing. And it's just one of the hidden self-defense tools you can use to protect yourself and your family from a violent attack. Also, in that category is my favorite self-defense tool. These I make. This is called a pocket stick, a yawara, and you send the same thing. It's a loaded fist. This one is pointy. That means you can dig it into, it's not gonna cut the skin, but you can dig it into places that cause extra pain. And when you carry it, if someone asks what is that, you say it's a massage tool. I use it to break up muscle adhesions, which I do. You can roll it like that. I do a lot of stuff with my forearms. I get like a really tough one, I can use the tip, roll it, relieve some pain. And so this is your self-defense. I've taken these through airport security all the time, and no one's ever even taken it out of the bag to ask me about it. But if they did, I'd say it's my massage tool, which is what it is. That's why I carry it with me. But it also doubles as a self-defense tool because it's hidden in plain sight. This is how you keep yourself and your family safe from a violent attack. If you have no other option, maybe you can carry this. If you can carry one of these, get the training. I put those links in the description. Even if you just want to see what's included in one of those courses, you got to go check that link by Tim Miller. It says Lionheart, and see what he's teaching those courses, because you can even make your own based on that if you can find some good training near you, if you're not able to come to beautiful Okeechobee Shooting Sports here in South Florida. This is also the same as a pocket stick. These are just, these are everywhere, right? These are in all offices. You get these in schools. Maybe you're in a school and you need to protect yourself from an active situation, and you don't have any other tools there because it's a gun-free zone, right? It's a gun-free zone, except they forgot to tell that to the punk, whatever, shooter who's coming there to shoot everybody up because they're mentally ill or whatever else, or angry. And they didn't read the sign that said gun-free zone, but you did, and you happen to work there, or your kids are there. Teach your kids how to use, your grandkids how to use a weighted fist. And then they can grab a Sharpie, they can grab one of those expo markers, the dry erase board, throw that in their hand, and then at least they have a fighting chance, better than nothing, right? So that, I wanted you to see that, and it's the same thing. Punching straight, you can swing behind you, you can come over the top. Your hands, palm strikes, hidden in plain sight, how to protect yourself from an attack. You can palm strike, you can drive your hand into your head, bringing that elbow straight up under his jaw. You can drive it forward. You can put your hand on the top of your chest, usually touches, palm facing the ground, smashing with that whole elbow. Now, you're not Muay Thai, we're not Muay Thai fighting in the ring, so we don't have to hit him with just the elbow. You can hit him with any part of the elbow, any part of the forearm. You stick that straight into his face, drive him back into his nose, or crush his windpipe. That's it. If it's life or death, that's what we're striking with. You can bring it up, you can bring it over, you can bring it down at an angle, you can bring it up at an angle, you can bring backside through. Just don't try to, if you want to reach in and hit him with the tip, put your elbow on first, your elbow, or your hand on your head. I call it putting on your helmet. Put your helmet on, step in, and drive this in. Paul asks what martial arts am I trained in? I started in judo, did a lot of taekwondo, traditional karate, a lot of boxing. I love boxing, Western wrestling, a lot of wrestling. Did kung fu for a while, went through a kung fu phase. went through a wushu phase. Back when I was young and flexible, I was sure in wushu, I think it was the first year they came in the Olympics, so they were thinking about it as a demonstration sport. I love wushu because it's so acrobatic, you know, Jackie Chan, who doesn't love Jackie Chan? But it's not practical. Love Aikido, done a lot of Aikido, done every martial art weapon I can get my hand on. A lot of formal classes in that. Used to travel to Korea, China, Japan, did some training each place. When I was younger, I'd bring students over sometimes. Sometimes I'd just go for myself. And a lot of Filipino martial arts. When I had my big school in Ohio for 20 some years, I always had an FMA school in the second floor, and they would train. Sometimes I would pop in there and do some of their training. Once, I think we went to like a weekend thing. But nothing that I really, you know, like I never really mastered all those others. In Taekwondo, I did that the majority with an old school Korean instructor. I lived in the school for like 6-7 years, then lived in my own school for several years until I got wise and realized I was never gonna have a life living on the floor, washing in a little sink. Anyway, I don't recommend that. Or I do, you know, do tough things, toughen up and grow up. But, and then in the military, a lot of hand-to-hand stuff. And now what I teach is not all of the self-defense, like all the techniques that I've learned over the years, Hapkido, a lot of Hapkido, all the self-defense stuff. Hapkido, if you don't know, is a Korean word for jiu-jitsu, but not Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I've done some Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but not a lot. But I just like practical stuff. I like what works. When it comes to self-defense, I still like the esoteric stuff, the aesthetics of martial arts weapons and traditional stuff. But like I was at the Olympics were on, I said, hey Dad, Taekwondo's in the Olympics. What they're doing now in the Olympics is not the stuff that I learned. Now I know why they're doing it because I know that industry and those people so well. And I watched the transition, and it's nothing that I'm interested in. And I would never teach anybody. I teach my own kids boxing and ground self-defense, which is a mixture of wrestling, the Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and some of the judo stuff. But that's it. When I teach young people self-defense, boxing, Western wrestling, some of the BJJ stuff, and then that's it. And then a lot of self-defense, how to improvise weapons, how to keep yourself and your family safe from an attack using weapons that are hidden in plain sight. Because that, to me, that's what's important to me now. I still see value in all of the traditional martial arts. I don't teach Krav Maga. I've taken Krav Maga weekend seminars. I just couldn't get I couldn't get into it. Nothing against the Krav Maga guys. It's like Kyokushin. And I love Masayama. Kyokushin karate, which was really the Korean. Masayama was really Korean. They're the ones that kick the baseball bats and then use their elbows and break the baseball bats in half. And they have the 100-man kumite, and they beat the snot out of each other. And it's brutal and vicious, and it's fun to watch. But I still don't find it super practical for self-defense. They don't punch in the face. They kick. They can knock each other out, just like Taekwondo can, or used to. I don't even know if they do that anymore. But they don't punch in the face. So if you don't box, boxers are my favorite for self-defense, to start. I think boxing, then learning how to defend on the ground, for me, it's perfect. Yeah, Eskrima is awesome. I love Eskrima, Arnis. Cops use blackjacks for decades. They used to have a pocket on their duty pants for their slipjack or blackjack, whatever they called it. And they're still really effective. You can still find them, and it's a nasty workout. Gel pepper spray, absolutely. I believe in pepper spray. I wouldn't get the spray because it's going to go hit him and it's going to come back and you're going to breathe it. Everybody's going to breathe it. If it's inside, everybody's going to have it in their lungs, in their eyes, and their nose. Snot's coming out. I like the old CS gas. But the gel is a little bit better. You can aim it. You can stay on him better. If he's coming, he gets hold of you, that's coming off of you and you're going to eat it too. So make sure if you do use pepper gel or pepper spray, you understand that you're probably going to have a reaction to it. So know what it's like and know what to expect so that you don't become a victim of your own pepper spray. Not that it's going to hurt you the way he will, but it might incapacitate you in a way that a group of people jump on you. So if you know how to use it, get out of there. Steve says Krav Maga and Muay Thai together. Yeah, Muay Thai is great too. They punch in the face, they elbow in the face. Elbows are nasty. They'll kick each other, knock each other out right in the head. You put that with the Krav Maga. Krav Maga is just is a blend of, you know, some of the old stuff that everybody already knows anyway. There's nothing like fancy. None of the techniques, martial arts, boxing, even self-defense courses like Krav Maga, none of them are as effective as, in fact, none of them work unless you have the principles of self-defense. That comes from people like, he's not the only one that does it, but people like Tim Larkin, Tony Blauer, these guys who understand that you have to have, it's like in the military, we have tactics and strategy. Tactics can win a battle, but strategy wins the war, right? Tactics and self-defense can save you for a moment, but if you don't have the right principles that underlie it, like paying attention so you're not even a victim in the first place, carrying yourself in a certain way, situational awareness is the first one, pay attention, carrying yourself in a certain way, learning how to get into a better position, get your hands up between you and him. Don't do one of the old, Bondo guys where, or who are the big Russians with the big bellies? Systema. Don't do the Systema thing where you're here and you're just going to be so fast that you slap it. A lot of the old white guy, Philippine FMA guys, got into that too for a while, in my opinion, my experience. Anyway, hands up and open, take a deep breath, calm your nerves. What can you remove or destroy? And that will give you all the answers you need. That's the basis of self-defense. That's in Tim Larkin's book. I'm going to put the link. I don't think I put the link yet in the description, but I'll put it when we're done. And then go there and you know, learn how to defend yourself and your family, how to keep yourself and your family safe from an attack. I was reading, if you finger jabbing, you miss. Thank you, Alita. Thanks so much for that earlier super chat, super sticker. You can hit the brow bone and break your finger. Yeah. So don't jab. This is jabbing, right? This is a claw. Take your hand and smack the snot out of the guy. Slap him in his face, coming straight forward. Don't jab. Don't do that, but do this. Then when you stick, I just busted my nose. When you stick your hand in your palm, it's gonna make me tear up. When you smash his nose into his face, and then you dig your fingers into his eyes, and then you rake and you pull him out of his head for self-defense, then you don't have to worry about breaking your fingers on his brow bone because you're coming in like this. So learn how to either palm strike or slapping. Don't think of it as a slap, think of it as a palm strike coming down out of heaven into his face for self-defense. And then rip everything you can. And then don't stop fighting until the fight's over. That's a principle, right? Close with and destroy, violence of action, all the things that we learned in the military that work, those are things you apply principally or with principles of self-defense. They all fell in the ocean. Steve asked why I don't own firearms anymore. They just disappeared. We were out on the boat and they all fell in the ocean, and I don't know where they are anymore. You know, you can interpret that however you want. Somebody else can explain it to you. But no, I do. I have to for my job, so I do have firearms. I was kidding about that. Saying that they fell in the ocean means that when certain evil powers execute on a plan and they start going door to door, and I'm not going to be able to survive that. No one else is either. That you know, nobody knows that I haven't, but obviously I use them every day for work. But go into the description, if you will, please. At least look at Tim Miller's Lionheart Skills courses and see what they're like. See what you could do if that's something that's important to you. And if you like that, if you do that, if you sign up for that, I'd love to see you there and we'll train together. But if not, look for something close to you if that's something that you're interested in. It's really, really fun. I've done so many of those courses as a student. I've helped in a few of them and I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do because you learn things and they put you under pressure and you get so much better at being able to defend yourself and your family from a violent attack. So go and check out those links if you haven't done that already. All right, Steve gets it. All right, thanks, Steve. Yeah, push-up break. Absolutely, Beth. Beth has been there when we had the push-up break. So we're gonna go into a push-up break. I had a push-up break before I started winded. Now I'm done. We're gonna run and do something really fun tonight. But before I do that, I'm going to do some push-ups. Yeah, Antisocial says good to use your knees if you get a chance. Better be both feet on the ground. Absolutely. And your knees bent. Learn how to, as soon as you need to, learn how to get into a little bit of a lowered stance and not wide feet. If your feet are wide, you have to come up to move forward. If your feet are narrow and they're closer together, like normally they would be under your body, and you bend your knees here, if you have to move forward, you can move forward with your knees bent. If your feet are too wide, you're gonna have to come up to move forward. And you guys who are traditional martial artists, you know that, but apply those basic principles of self-defense and it makes you much more effective. An umbrella, Friggy asks, umbrella effective as self-defense? So absolutely, keep it closed. People will show you to open it, to blur their vision or whatever, but keep it closed. Use it as a like a rifle bayonet, a rifle butt strike, smashing through with two hands. Use it the way law enforcement uses a riot baton. Or watch some of my videos on how to use a walking stick. It's the same thing as a walking stick. You can swing it if you want, but on an umbrella, because the way it's made is not as heavy as a walking stick, I would point my thumb, get in the front hand, and just thrust. Keep it low, bend the knees, stick it into his midsection, here, moving all the way up the body, turn it, smash it through his face for self-defense. Box his ears, bam, bring it down the top. I don't have any videos on how to use pepper spray. I do have a few on the umbrella. I'll get some pepper spray or pepper gel, because I prefer pepper gel, and I'll get some and show you how to use it and maybe get sprayed again. It's been years since I was sprayed. I probably am overdue. And show you how to use it, and then how to, if you happen to get your own spray in your face, how to get rid of the pain right away. All right, you guys have been awesome, and thank you so much, guys, for being here. And thank you for all the great comments. I really appreciate all the accolades and the good questions, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. We'll do one of these again tomorrow.